Get that ball, Brian. Brian, get that ball. Go kick that ball. Yeah.
How much film do you have? Did you get it? How much film do you have?
No, 2 films.
Oh, do you?
That's not too bad. This one's fine.
Are you
Oh,
recording?
no, not too hard.
Not too hard, huh?
Are you gonna go with him and he's home or what?
Well, I don't know. How are you going to haul them?
What's that? We get him in the car?
Last time we went to get him, he put his elbows out where the fucking bag hit, and he was in the hole, and he wouldn't do it.
When it's a complete
Well, we hope you move in October 1st.
It's different down there. You got big crews that come in and do stuff.
What it is.
Like around here, right?
Well, yeah, that's Marshall Park.
Throw away my Huh? I don't want to kick it, Jim.
I'm just gonna I'll drive back to California. Oh, Millie, come and get a car.
Oh, we did miss. Yeah.
Where the heck are you going?
Is that your machine?
No,
Or Mark's?
my boat.
Your boat?
But Mark has custody of it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Is there someone from around here videotaping somebody?
We saw somebody with another video camera. And she was.
Let's see, we can find a rod here. We can maybe drive down and go get an apple.
We've seen Jeff and all. Running around.
She went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since.
I think he's still. Okay, smile, you guys.
Well, how many of you? You probably don't. Right there. I got one.
Pretty big.
She's up to 8 this morning. Went back
Pretty big.
at 9:30, and I had to wait for her to come here. Oh, no. At 1 o'clock. She says, I'll take it off
This thing, Dorothy was born in that.
Well, no, he gets born now.
We weren't even born here.
You weren't even born.
I said we were up.
On the old Hanson place.
Yeah.
Then when you came in the bus.
And I think Ralphie, I know Dwayne was born up on Milton.
Well, how come who was born there? You said Ralph?
Dorothy, yeah.
And they
Dorothy and Shirley were born in
Yeah, Lonnie was born in Washington
Yeah.
or something.
And I think part of
Like the original house.
Part of it.
Yeah, part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I think even when you come out from I used to know sometimes. It was definitely
Sure.
like he's not there.
There they are, the three of them.
You remember Clark?
I don't know how big it was. You go that and maybe park and do one side and out on the
How did it go?
Good. No problem at all.
After he was ready to go, he said, I guess so. Hello, Paul.
Talk about a celebration now, Paul, huh?
Jamaican. Oh, yeah. Get right in. Oh, this one put up on each side here. You better probably get it in there out of the wind, you girls. Like wind. Hurry up.
How did you forget all the fun we had out here?
What's going on over here? Check out. Here's where the game is.
I was right on that. I said, now you're John's wife.
Where's the girl?
But when I saw Daddy, I said, yay! Where's Ted? You know, Vicky's not very greasy, but she's not very greasy. There's another one you get the flowers from. Yeah, that's her hair. See? Well, here's him.
Where's Sue Nichols? Does she have, you have your poetry down pat?
Poetry.
Yeah, her dad said she's reading poetry.
Bring him over here. Are you giving poetry? No.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Is that the key? You guys putting bear over by the barn or what? Yeah, that's Brian. Grandpa. No.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
I should have known. Who's that? Yeah.
They went to get, this morning. Oh, yeah.
Whose baby is it? Mimi and No, her name is Carrie. Because I
You're at the them all day, are you?
And here and Mom. You got to get. Yeah, you know what?
You got his power. That other battery full yet?
We have trouble with the car.
Did you go up in the front and take a picture of them? Coming this way? Just go up there. Just take a picture of the whole crowd.
Nice to see so many come from far away. You know, when we started this last fall, we had a meeting, and you know, the first thing we do is get somebody to be master of ceremony. Well, you know, it got to become an argument between Russell and Paul, and as things went on, you know, we'd meet in town in the morning for coffee, and don't suppose that Russell, he was always shooting his mouth off and paying all right. And then don't you suppose he got Rollin into the act? And between those three, I tell you, it got to be terrible. We had a meeting, I think it was in February, and you know how forgetful Russell is? My God, he even forgot that he was supposed to be MC. So, that's one of the things with Russell. He is kind of forgetful. We have to remember that. Yeah, now he's complaining that he's old.
How old is he?
Well, we know one thing that he is. We know one thing that he is the oldest one of the third generation. So we have to give him those honors. Take a bow, Russell. Yeah. I'm going to turn this here over to Helen after a little while, but how many of you people here knew that we have two golf pros in the family? The BB boys. The BB boys. Russell and Paul. Well, anyhow, you know, you shoot up in the 70s, you know, it's not too bad on an 18-hole course. But God, when you get down on a 9-hole course and then skip 2 holes besides, it's not a very good score. Well, anyhow, the guy over there in Warren that kind of runs the course, he thought, well, I'm going to watch and see what Paul and Russell are doing wrong. So anyhow, they got out there, and then they started arguing who was going to be first to tee off. And finally, Russell told Paul, I said, you hit first. So Paul, he teed up, you know, and wham, he hit the ball, and he stood and looked where the ball was going. And finally, he looked over to Russell. He said, say, Russell, you see where the ball went? Yeah, Russell said. Well, he said, where'd it go? God, Russell said, I can't remember. So there's where his forgetfulness is. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Helen.
Hi, this really isn't fair because I didn't know this was going to happen. I hope I'm not the second oldest or whatever. But it's really a wonderful treat to be here. I feel really bad because my kids aren't here because I can see what a great, great time it is. But anyhow, for all of you who came, what a great, great fun time it's going to be. I wanted to tell a joke when I heard about the golfer. Did you hear about Moses and Jesus who went out and had a golf game? Moses took a swing, and it landed in the first hole. Then Jesus got up, and Moses said, "But you must take a heavier iron." "No," he said, "this is fine. Arnold Palmer does this." So he takes a swing with the golf stick, and it goes into this little lake that was nearby. So he said to Moses, "Would you please go and get my golf ball?" So Moses waded in and got it. Again, Moses said, "Jesus, you better take a better iron." "No," he said, "Arnold Palmer uses this one and I'm going to." So he takes another swing, and again it went into the water. So he said to Moses, "Will you go and get my golf ball?" And he said, "No, I'm not going to. I told you to use a different iron." So with that, Jesus walked into the water to get his golf ball. About that time, a bystander came by, and he said, "Who does he think he is, Jesus Christ?" And Moses said, "No, Arnold Palmer." That made me think of that. I don't know. I understand that all of the cousins are here from the Hanson family except two, and that's Wally and Avis Hanson. And I also just heard that their mom lost her third husband, right? And so I'm sure that they're together at this particular time, and it's unfortunate that they're not with us because we really had some great times as cousins. This maybe was one of the highlights of the cousins getting together. I certainly remember coming over to this farm many, many times and playing games, catching fireflies, and in jars, peanut butter jars, or whatever we could get our hands on. But I think maybe one of the most fun things we ever had was with the old organ that Norma, and where are you, Norma? I was looking forward to seeing the old organ here so we could have given you some of our special music. We went in and reminisced in this old log cabin here, and we remembered that in the archway, if you haven't already been in there, there used to be an old curtain there that hung from the rings. They'd have tiebacks off to the side, and then the organ stood in the corner. We used to get behind this curtain and let the tiebacks down, and that was our stage. And there were many, many good performances that went on, and nobody could appreciate those more than the cousins that would be present to clap and to laugh together. And I don't know how many of those are here, but we did have some good times. I think this is true with the cousins of all of the cousins of the generation before our children. It seemed like the only friends and fun that we had were with cousins. And I think sometimes the cousins of today don't have some of the times that we had, and I'm sure all of you can think for that because I can see it. But nevertheless, they were good times. I guess I'll tell you that we have 4 kids. Truan, who's married and has 1 child at 34, and they're both working for American Airlines, so unfortunately they had to fly this weekend instead of being here. Bruce has remarried. He was married and had a daughter who's 12, and in the meantime he has remarried and has 2 more children, 5 and 4. Randy and Rose, they couldn't be here because of financial reasons more than any. Randy and Rose have no children. They're up at Torrance, California, and they have no children. They had already planned to go to Germany, so that's where they're spending their vacation. And then I have Tammy, who's 25, and it's unfortunate she can't be with us, but she's in the hospital. She has lots of emotional problems. For that I am unhappy, but I'm grateful that there are many others here who share lots of happy times. It's good to have Paul here. Can you hear us, Paul? Paul, are you sleeping? Paul, are you sleeping? Nevertheless, I'm sure he's enjoying the fresh air. I don't know who I'd like to give this to next, but I think we should all share and reminisce about some of the things that we have done. I think it's really great that we have such a beautiful, beautiful day. As much as I like to say that San Diego has the most pleasant and beautiful weather, that's not true today, because I left hot and humid weather there yesterday, and it's extremely beautiful here today. So this tells me that the Hansons couldn't be all bad, because the good Lord sure gave us some beautiful weather. About what? Oh, I didn't visit relatives. No, All I can say is I did go to Sweden 6 years ago, and I didn't have addresses at that time, and I hope to have been there this time. I went with Truan and Jerry to Germany and Austria about 3 weeks ago, and I wanted then to get into Sweden, but we just didn't have enough time because the driving from where we were and up into Sweden was too long, so we didn't get over there. But maybe another time. Who else would like to share? I think we should all share. Who's next in line? Connie, where are you? Come on now, you've got enough to say. It's not. What did he say? What did he say? Oh.
Well, then I guess I'm Loudmouth Connie. I've been called that many times anyway. And it's, I don't know, I just can't say enough that we could all get together again. You know, we've waited for this for many, many years. And I guess I'm the only one of the ones in my family, maybe Ralphie is, that has seen all the relatives in the later years. And I think about Grandpa and Grandma, really how happy they would be if they could see us all here today. I remember when we used to go and stay with Grandpa and Grandma White, he would let us sleep with him. And that was really something, to be sleeping with Grandpa, and Grandpa would snore and he'd go like this. And that's something that I can remember about Grandpa. And Grandpa was really a good grandpa. My mom said that he really spoiled us kids because he let us really do what we wanted. And I'm sure like many of you kids didn't get to know your grandpa. So, I don't know, that's about all I've got to say. Anybody else? Ron? Yeah, Ron is here. Why don't you come up here then? Well, they want to see what you look like. Come on, Stacy.
That's more enough, Ron. We've seen enough. Yeah. You'll get your turn.
Okay. You want to say something?
Well, I'm Connie's little boy here, our one and only boy, and I work in Grand Forks. And my wife is chickening out on me, I guess, not coming up here. But I have a lot of memories about Ralph and Clara, my grandparents, because my mother took care of them for, what was it, about 3 years? Yeah, 4 years. I remember having 2 hospital beds in our house set up in the living room, so it was a good time for me because I got to get to know Grandpa and Grandma real good then. I spent a lot of time with them. So?
Well, I don't know. Artie, do you want to come up here? She's shaking. Oh, well, then Norma will take the show. Come on, Norma. Come on.
Come on, Norma. Send a roll on this.
Well, when it gets too much, just clap. Okay. What did I say? The only thing, some of the things I remember is when Bergmans used to come over. And they'd come driving in the yard, and then Dad would say, oh, here comes the Bergmans. Let's get the stuff up. And then we'd all go into the living room, and then we'd close the door, and we'd play games or whatever, and Dad would come in and check on us every now and then because he was, I don't know, he was scared we were with Bergmans. I don't know what it is, but something fun. And then he'd come in and he'd turn the lights, you know, he'd turn the lamp down because, you know, he's scared of fire, you know how he was. Yeah, and then some other things I remember was back over here, we used to have 3 apple trees, and then the big rhubarb patch, and Russell and those Bergmans again, of course, would be over, and we'd sit there, and Russell, he would find some dried weeds, and he'd be trying to roll up cigarettes. I can imagine what they did. He really was a bad influence on us. Oh, let's see what else. Huh? Yeah, I know. Huh? Something nice about and same in church. Dad said, now don't sit by the Bergman kids. Things that make us laugh, you know? Oh, but really, I guess they were our best and closest cousins anyway, because they were, well, really, well, outside of Jean and Leslie, you know, they were just a couple of, what's over here, yeah. I don't know. Well, let's see. And I remember when we lived on the Lipston place and we moved over here. And that same summer, I remember Dad was farming over here and living over there, and I used to have to come and sleep with him over here. I don't know what I did, but I helped him, and all I remember is being up in this bedroom and the crickets were crawling all over, and they were trying to sleep. Let's see. But there's always good memories. I just start crying if I start mentioning them. So I guess that's about it. How about Lola? I think Lola said, oh yes, I got to tell. Oh, I forgot about this. We used to. I stayed with my grandma in town when I was about a freshman in high school. And she was ill. We lived in these 2 rooms and had to take care of her. And she was the one that taught me how to wash clothes. And to this day, I guess I'm kind of proud of that. But she stood over me, and I had to get this tub and then a scrubbing board. And she told me exactly how to do it, you know, exactly. And then when someone come over, then she would brag how good I was. And then Lola and her mother stayed one winter, and Lola went to school in Alfredo. And we would, and all he would laugh, and Grandma would be mad at us because we were sitting up laughing and having a good time. Oh, I guess that's about it then. I think Lola should tell them.
Well, I'm the one that came in the summertime, and it was a big treat for me to come here because I'm the only one. And of course, all my cousins were like sisters and brothers to me, and I still feel that way. It's still a big treat to come out here. And I can remember coming, and I had a mother that didn't believe that you should play because you would get dirty and sweaty and stay in the house and sit on the chair. So I got to hear all the things about all the older people and who belongs to who. Went to Madine's and sat with the older people and went over to Minnie Hogman's and sat with the older people when everybody else was out playing. But it was still a big treat to come. And we started out by staying at the Bergmans. Then we would move, and of course I was always sad when we moved. Then we would come here to Ralph and Clara's. And then we would go to Roseau to Helen and Ole's. And of course there we were in town, so we could walk. That was something, to walk to town, walk into town. And then we came back and went to Uncle Walter's. And because Mother and him, what one didn't think of, the other one thought of. I'm sure Auntie Esther didn't approve of a lot of fun things that went on. And she would get pretty upset. But we used to stay 6 weeks or 2 months, and right, we would leave and everybody would say, oh, they're gone for this year. But we came every year until I graduated from high school. And then I initiated my husband. I brought him out here on our honeymoon. And he tells me every time we go back, I never seen so many laughing, giggling Swedes in my life. And he tells everybody there, she's got relatives coming out of the woodwork. And I'm sure this time when he goes home, he's going to say, I'm never going to remember anyone. But we thank you for all your hospitality that you show us every time we come. And we would be happy to have you come and visit us. And we enjoy having you when you come. Not many have come. That was the one thing that made Mother feel bad, that no one ever came. And I think the time when Ralph and Vivian and Connie came was a big time. That was right before she passed away, and she really enjoyed it. And every year has been a fun year that I came out here. I know people here and I remember things that no one else remembers. So it's been fun today, and I know we're going to have a better time this afternoon. I know it's going to be fun till we leave. So now who else is going to have something to say? Phyllis, come on. Come on, your family has got to talk. Come on. Of course, come on. And I'm sorry my children didn't come. That's the one thing that made me feel bad, is that the children couldn't come.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm certainly glad to be here. And it's been a long, long time, and there are a lot of pleasant memories. And of course, it's kind of another great time because Ma and Helen and I are together for the first time, too, in 31 years. But I want you to know that we appreciate you having us here. And I hope it won't be another 38 years before we'll see you again.
I don't really have a lot to say. I guess I could stand here probably for hours and talk about Grandpa and Grandma Hanson. Well, no, I asked Norma, she said no. She lost her voice or something. I think the only guy that's here that's bigger than I am is my cousin Russell. Happy to be here. Nice to see all you people again. I think what I probably remember most going back is to Grandpa and Grandma Hanson and the big house. There was lots of places to explore. We had the cousins got together and enjoyed times in the basement. We had, I guess we had everything, you know, lots to eat. I don't think anybody went hungry. Not looking from Russell and Pauline. Probably a few fatter ones here too, I don't know. Whatever. There were a lot of good times, and I think of all the relatives. Grandpa's, I guess Grandpa and Grandma Hanson, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here, first of all. I look back at all the uncles and aunts who we always shared holidays, Christmas times together. The days are, I think somebody mentioned before that a lot of people don't enjoy what we had then. We probably didn't have a lot, but everybody had fun and enjoyed life. And not that we don't enjoy life today. With that, I think I would like to have Loudmouth Mills come up here from Flagstaff and shoot off his mouth a little bit. He's so forgetful he wouldn't remember what to say. He'd forget it before he got up here. Let me give it to Maynard. He's got a family. They're all here. Let me give it to him and let him see what he remembers about the old times.
Well, I don't really know what to say either. I was one of the trailers of the cousins.
Are you getting where the voice is?
Shirley was one of the closest ones to me. I guess we had quite a few good times over here. We were talking about it before. And I live in Grand Forks, and I don't remember too much about Grandpa and Grandma's house over here, but I know it's really big, and when you're just a pint-sized kid, it looks a lot bigger than what it probably would today. I'm real glad that everybody showed up, and we're really having a good time out here. Shirley, come on up. You bet. I could stand up here for about a half an hour telling Ole and Lena jokes, but I don't know if anybody wants to hear them.
All I can say is that when I was a little girl, I used to just hate it. I was the baby of the family. And now that I'm pushing 50, I sure am glad. And since I was the youngest of the family, Maynard and I and Marlis, Avis, we'd be together. And then there was Dorothy and Ruthie and Anna Mae and all of them, and they didn't want us tagging around, get lost, you know. But other than that, I live in Castleton. We have 6 children. 2 of them are married. 1 is left in high school. I'm a hairdresser, of course, Dan's a barber. And other than that, I don't really have nothing more to say. So who would like to talk? Dorothy? How about you? You got something to say? Marlis? Anna Mae? Sure.
What do you want me to say, Bill? Well, I didn't know I was going to have to get up here. Ralphie informed me last night I was supposed to give a 25-minute speech. He says, you got to introduce your family, and I said, if I'd known that, I would have left my family at home. But anyhow, I remember quite a few things. Coming over here and playing and having a lot of fun. Another thing I remember is going over to Aunt Mabel. Right next door here, we used to pick Juneberries. Ma would bring us over and she'd say, now you kids pick Juneberries. So we'd pick, but we'd eat about half of them. So she didn't get very many Juneberries. And another thing was our big trip when we used to go to Roseau to the Braga family. That wasn't very often, but and I don't think I got any further after that until we went to California. But anyhow, we've had a lot of good times. And And I'd like for all of you to meet my family. Come on. If I got to be up here, the rest of you got to get up here. Right there. Come on. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh, they're supposed to be down there. Now you can take a picture of the whole group out here. Where's Steve and Mimi? Where's Mimi? Anyhow, this is their youngest one. That's Mark. Well, he's responsible for all of this. Grandma. Yeah. And the next one is Vicky. She's the third to the oldest. And then it's Maynard, of course. Huh? Yeah, she's still single. And she's enjoying it. She said she's going to be a sister. I doubt it. And then it's Mark, or Clark. I get all the kids mixed up. Well, that we won't tell. And he's the second to the youngest. He was busy for 8.5 years when the last one came along, and he was sort of jealous. So he's been sort of ornery ever since. And Keith is the oldest one. And he's married to Mimi out there in the rocker there with the little one. And then it's Judy. She's the next to the oldest. And she has the little boy that's playing with the ball. That's Jeffrey. And Keith has another little boy that's Brian. And then there's Marcia, that's Clark, by the table there. That's Clark's girlfriend. She wanted to go on too and see what Minnesota was like. Yeah. See what they were all getting into. So, yeah, you can sit down if you want. Oh, I'm about ready to sign off. And who else would like to? Okay, Jeannie. I'm so glad you raised your hand.
That's true too, but I think there was something that needed to be said, and that today's gathering, all of the Hansons, the actual Hansons, are gone. What we have left as survivors are John Bergman, my mother, and Esther Hanson. And I think this would be a tribute to them. Thank you.
I'm not going to say much, but I did get in. He mentioned Esther. And I called Wally here the last week. And I didn't get a hold of him, but I got a hold of Esther. And she said, be sure to say hello to all of you. And I must be one of the younger fellas around here because I really don't remember all these old-time things. The only thing I remember is taking care of Foxy. And I suppose that was a chore myself, you know. So, here, I'll turn it over to go. Who's next? I introduced my family? Oh, yeah, well, that's cool. I'm maybe one of the lucky ones. I got them all here. Helen, that's my heavier sisters. So, Lee and Sue's here. My wife first, I told her how to do that. Lee and Sue, John, Claire, and then James. And where's Melissa? Okay. Well, who's next here? Stand the other one, feel the music.
Okay, Fox, if you want to look at it. Well, it's Bernice and son Charles. Chris and Jay and Don and Alan and Vicky and suppose I should start telling the old Elena story then. Should I? About Ole and Sven in the South? Huh? Okay. Ole and Sven decided to go in the hog business, and Ole wound up with a bunch of sows and no board. Then he had a sow that got in season, so he went over to Sven and took the sow along, and Sven turned the sow loose in the pen, and he said, let's go to town and drink coffee. They come back home and loaded up the sow. Ole said to Sven, well, how can I tell if the sow is taken? Well, if she's smelling the roses tomorrow and eating grass, why, it's all right, and she's walking around in the mud, bring her back. So Ole ran out and looked, and got down it the next morning, the sow was walling in the mud, so he loaded her up again. Thanked Sven, went through the same procedure, went to town, drank coffee, and come back, loaded up the sow. Next morning she was wallowing in the mud again. So he loaded her up and went back to Sven. Sven said, well, we'll go to town, Ole, but we'll stay a little while longer this time. So they went, I guess they went over to Elgin's or someplace. They stayed till it got dark. Come home and loaded up the sow. Went back home. Next morning he didn't feel so good, so he said to his wife, why don't you go out and see if the sow is eating grass and smelling roses, or she's wallowing in the mud. So she went out and looked and come back. Ole said, well, what was she doing? Was she smelling the roses and eating grass? No, the old lady said. Was she wallowing in the mud? No, the old lady said. Well, what was she doing, Ole said? She was up in the pickup waiting to go. Now it's somebody else's turn, that's enough. Where are you, artists? Can't stand here and hold this thing forever. We used to go to Grandma's house on Christmas Eve. I was the oldest in the tribe, and I guess I was 7 years old. And we went with bobsleigh and horses, and then we'd stay overnight. I don't know if any other kids ever went along. I don't even know if you were even born, Paul. You were still probably just a tot. And then we'd get up in the morning, and then we'd get in the sleigh and the horses and go to Elam Church to Euros. I don't know if any of the other kids remember that. Well, you're pretty darn old.
Oh, the Lena story I gotta tell, sir. Ole and Lena and Sven, you know, they were together. Lena was married to Sven. Oh, she was a worker. God, she was. One day they had a pretty good crop of wheat. Ole went to Sven. He says, Jesus, Lena's been working so hard. She said, why don't we fix up the kitchen for her? So that night they fixed up the kitchen. They put in new cupboards and linoleum and everything. But they never put an outhouse, not a bathroom in for her. She still had the outhouse. So one day, Ole came to Sven and says, yeah, Lena's been working hard. We said, get in a new outhouse for her because that's pretty ragged, that old one. And they said, go to an auction sale now, she says. They went to the auction sale and they were lucky enough. They got the outhouse and came home, but those two guys were lazy. They didn't know what to do now. We got work to dig a hole. Oh, he says, I'm pretty good with dynamite. He says, let's go to town and buy some sticks of dynamite and we'll stick it underneath the outhouse and move the old one up and make the hole at the same time and put the new one on. They went there and got the dynamite and a long fuse and put the dynamite on the outhouse and lit the fuse, went behind the grain and lit the fuse. Here comes Lena, had to go. Sam says, no, Lena, don't go in there. She said, yeah, but she says I got to go. So in she went. Pretty soon it was a big boom, and a cloud of dust. Out those went, and Lena went. Oh, Sam said, oh, Lena, I didn't mean you should go this way. All of a sudden there was a noise in the tree, and he looked up, and there was Lena. Here I am, Sven. He says, oh, thank goodness you are alive. He says, yeah, she says, thank goodness I didn't let that one go in the kitchen. Who's next?
I don't have a story. I just, at this time, want to thank Brother Ralph and his wife, Vivian, for making this gathering possible. I think we owe them and anyone else who had anything to do with it a big round of applause.
Three men had invested in a gold mine. There was the big black fellow, and then there was the Swedish fellow, and a Chinaman. The fellow who sold the investment said to them, you know, one way to protect your investment is to work at it for a while. So they agreed that that would be a good idea. So then they said, he said, well, let's see now, what are each of you going to do? He said, okay, to the black fellow, he said, you do the pick and shovel work, and you load up this little cart with the gold. And he said to the Swede, and he said, and you push the cart up the rail and empty it out, and then come back and get another load. And then he turned to the Chinaman, and he said, and you will be responsible for supplies. A couple of weeks later, he thought he'd go back and check to see how they were doing. Well, here was the black guy just chiseling and shoveling and loading the cart, and here was the Swedish guy pushing it up the rail and emptying it and down again. Couldn't find the Chinaman. So he started to look around the mine for the Chinaman. Couldn't find him, so he went and got the flashlight, and he went in and out, and all of a sudden, here was the Chinaman up against the wall with his arms like this. And the minute he shined the flashlight in his face, he went, supplies, supplies! Okay, Ruthie, you're next. Come on. I'll bring it to you.
I was just taking a nap. Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm sorry that the two girls aren't here. Pat lives in Valley City, but her husband is going to graduate school in Indiana, so that's where they are. And Peggy is expecting in September, and she was advised by the doctor not to make the trip, so she couldn't come. But David is in. David? And I guess that's about all. Who else is next? No. You gonna tell a story?
Well, it's great to be here. A lot of you cousins I haven't seen for over 40 years. It's really great to talk again. Gene was mentioning the three surviving oldest ones, Ma and Johnny and Esther, would be through marriage. I mean, it actually was in Hanson. Actual Hanson blood, which sort of brings back memories. I know Saturday night and Sunday used to be special. We'd go to, Dad would take cream and make us into town. And then they'd have an outdoor theater, we'd go there and watch the movie. And Dad would usually, well, probably give me a dime. At first I bought candy, but a little bit later, I'd sneak in and I'd get Joey Anderson to buy some Bull Durham. So then Ralphie and Dwayne and me and Polly would congregate on Sunday and we'd smoke under the bridge north of Grandpa's farm. And we'd be scared to come home because I had to help milk. So we'd grab a handful of grass and start chewing on that. So we had some great old times. Oh, I know. That's about all I know. Helen, man. Come on. That was a good joke.
Oh, I wish I knew some. You guys are great. It's really good to be here. It's been a long time. I just wish all my kids could have come. And the 16th grandchild is due any time. So we're kind of waiting for a phone call from her. If he'd been born before, I probably would have been here. I'm sure glad that Roland's still coming. And I guess I'm going back with Laura and Jamie. So it's really good to be here. You're next. You were one of the little spoiled ones, huh? Come on!
Come on, artist. Okay. Artist, come on. You're the only cousin who hasn't been up here. Dorothy, come on. The two of you can sing a duet. Come on, Artist and Dorothy, and sing a duet. Please. What's your problem? Where's Artist? Did she go to cook or something? Another thing I think, too, we need to stop and realize that out of the cousins, we do have some who aren't with us here today. Dwayne, Sonny. Who else? Pardon? Wallace, Elaine, and Dennis, and Bobby. So there are a few that have left us, and so we pay tribute to them also. Huh? Yeah, I said Sonny. Better known as Forrest. Anybody else? Susan has something to say.
I guess I'm the only grandchild that's going to have guts enough to come up here, and that's not fair. But maybe some of you other guys will too. Someone talked earlier about how important it was, all the old times and spending times with our grandparents and everything, and I guess I really believe that too, because living on the farm with my grandma, who was Ruth, I think back and can remember lots and lots of special times. Not necessarily that we'd do anything so outstanding, but she would always just let me come over and do whatever she was doing. And if she was watching Party Line, I could watch Party Line with her. And if she was knitting, I could knit. And if she was crocheting, I could crochet. Of course, she made doilies and I made chains, but, you know, I could still crochet with her. And she taught me to do lots of things that are still special to me now. I remember when she taught me how to sing a song in Swedish, which I can't do anymore, so don't ask me to. And we'd have afternoon coffee with sugar lumps and Carol syrup with bread. And I guess I remember, too, Christmas time when all of the cousins would play down in the basement, play hide and seek around the furnace and stuff like that. And those times are special to me. I think about them a lot and really think that sometimes kids these days don't have the opportunity to spend all that time with their grandparents. So it was important to me. Ronnie Nichols has been called on. How about some of you other, my cousins too? Yeah, no, but
Partly. Yes, we all are. I think this is too early for me because this is supposed to be the levity. I got the history lesson for you guys, I guess. And that was to cover those that started all this operation. Christine and Nils. I had to write my crib sheet here because I couldn't remember all this stuff. Now I can't read it either because I don't write so well. But anyway, Nils, the progenitor, whatever the big word is for that, progenitor, I guess, I don't know, of this clan, was born in Lillehoog, Ada Parish, Varmland in 1864. And his family moved a couple of times when I was, reading through these records that I've studied. And in 1881, his family moved from Lillehoog to a place called Sugarhall. That's probably not the way the Swedes would say it, but that's the way I'm going to say it. And in 1882, they moved to a town called Hammer. And that's where he left from in 1888. It was in June of 1888 that he left the parish. It was reported as going, I suppose, to see the parish authorities, whoever they may be, the church warden or whatever, to get his, what they call a new sleeping slip, to leave the parish. And I know that it's fairly accurate because when he applied for his naturalization papers here in Marshall County in 1890, October of 1890, he applied for U.S. citizenship, and he said he passed through the port of New York in June of 1888. I tried to find when he actually landed, but I haven't had much success with that. There were so many boats coming over at that time that hard to read through passenger lists with 1,000 people on them. You start to get lost after a while. Well, then, of course, after he got over here, he met the woman of the family, I guess, Christine Olson, or I guess in some cases it would be Christine Anderson, depending on how you look at it. When she was born in Mullen Parish in a town called Holina in February of 1868. Her father's name was Jut Olaf Anderson, so she would have been really Christine Old's daughter over there. But when she came over here with her younger sister Karen in 1889, they used the name Olson just with one S too, which is, I thought, unusual, because even on the records that I looked at, she happened to be the only one of this, since I chased the Larson family too back to the old country. They were the only ones that left through Gothenburg, Sweden, which when they did that, they had to check out with the police. I don't know why, but they all had to sign out with the police, and she left Sweden, according to that document, on the 26th of April in 1889. I think it was.
We're used to sitting together.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they were married, Christine and Nels were married on the 23rd of November, 1890. And now they had, I should have went back a little bit farther, and say that Nils was the only one of his family that came over here. He had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Anders and Knut and Gulbrand were his brothers, and Burrit and Maria were his sisters. So, and as I understand it, I think it was a daughter of Maria, was it, Connie?
What?
Was it a daughter of Maria or Burrit, the one that came over here? Maria? Yeah, the youngest one. Christine too. She had 7 brothers and sisters. And some of which came over here also a younger sister. The older brother named Andrew, they still remember using the name Andrew here. I don't know, because I haven't talked to any of the family that knows enough of the history to cover that. And then another younger brother named Ole, who went by the farm name or whatever that name is, it became Ole Goldie. You know the name come with the name? Let's see, in 1890, I think that covers it in, as we all know how many children they had and what they had, let me see if I got this right, Ruth, Ralph, Edwin, Helen, Elna, and Walter. That about covers it, eh? I think that pretty well covers what I've got here, except that maybe in hunting through the plat maps of this county here, I find that the first land that he bought was over here about 2 or 3 miles west of here, along the highway going to Oslo, I think it is now. It was 80 acres that he bought in 1901. Then in 1912, he bought the farm right north of here. Well, I guess it's the big house where all you guys have been talking about, whatever you did, sneaking behind the furnace and barn and whatever you guys did out there as little children. The first cousins, that is. For us younger group, we don't get to see one another that often. I only have a couple here that I guess I really know well, Charles and Alan and the Frenchies. Birdman's here, they're too young for me almost to know Rose. I left early by that time. And I guess that just about covers your history lesson for today. If you've got any questions or want to get into it deeper, I got a whole book full of information in the house there. It goes back, I've traced these people back to about 1700 or thereabouts. And if you want any copies of it, I'll take your names and addresses or whatever and send it out to you. But I was hoping probably to get them in a little better form than others. If somebody wanted something to read and hand out, but unfortunately I've been vacationing for the last month, so I thought I was going to be able to do something while I did this sleeping in a tent trailer, but with 4 kids, that didn't work so well. I think it's okay, so I passed all that. And I don't know if there's going to be anyone else here that wants to get up and say the words, any younger group. No more second cousins or thirds or fourths or whatever we got here. So we're going to pull this up, Uncle, and go to the dinner table. It isn't ready yet. Oh, for shame. Well, if I could sing, I'd lead you in a song, but I can't do that either. Oh, she's got something here. That's... Oh, good.
I have a terrible, terrible confession to make, and now that you're here, stand by me. I even hate to admit this, but I'm sure if you had tomatoes, you'd all throw them. I'm sitting on Grandpa and Grandma's visa and birth certificates back in San Diego.
Oh, you are. I got copies of them here in the book.
For crying out loud.
And their
It just dawned on me. You see, it doesn't pay to get 59 years old. Gosh. But that's one of the things that maybe should have come along. But as long as you've got copies, good. You're into that, huh? That's good. The other thing I was thinking about, there were a couple of things that I think we should pay tribute to Auntie Esther. And one of the things that I not only pay tribute, but I hold her responsible for, the reason that some of the Bergmans are so fat is that I can remember when we were little, we ate cookies and cake and donuts like everything. We still do. And I can remember one time she decided she was going to try to make us sick on something sweet. So we came home from church one Sunday, and here came Uncle Walter, Esther, Sonny, I think he was alive at that time, and Avis, carrying all these different size shaped pans and petals. They had made each of us 6 kids a cake. How many remember that? Well, only the 6 Bergmans were involved. They actually made us all a different kind of cake. We had spice, we had chocolate, we had orange, we had a white. I can't remember all the kind. And the deal was we had to eat that cake while they were there with us. We could exchange pieces, but we couldn't give them away. If we gave one away, we had to take one back. Well, she thought she was going to get us sick on cake, but I'll have you know, I still like it, but I think everybody else still does. And the other thing my mother used to say to fill up, now because we're going to go over to Esther's, but when we came to Esther's, she'd have these great big cookie jars like you see at the cafeteria or the restaurants with the front lids on. She'd take the lids off for us, and she'd have them all filled up with molasses, sugar, cookies, you name it, she had them. She said, no, just let them eat them, let them eat them. Well, I think that's what happened to us. We ate too many goodies. The other thing I remember about Auntie Mabel and Uncle Edwin over here at Grandma Hanson's house, they had a flowing well. And we could go there in the heat of the summer and have Jell-O and whipped cream. And that was something that we couldn't have at home. So I have always remembered the Jell-O and the whipped cream at Auntie Mabel's and Uncle Edwin, which was always a special treat. The other thing we did, and I think Leslie and Jean could remember this. Do you remember how they sent us out in the woods to look for old man Hutterly's riches? We'd take each a shovel. We'd go out there and we'd dig and we'd dig. God. And they kept us there all afternoon while they visited. I was wondering if we should go over and take a dig. Maybe it's closer to the surface by now. But that was another fun thing that I remembered over there. And then the other thing, we'd get this old phonograph wound up. They'd always sit in the kitchen and we'd get to go into the living room. we'd wind up this old phonograph and play all those old records and scare each other and say, you saw Grandpa in the window. So, needless to say, there's many, many good times. And I hope all of you have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed it, and that we'll stick it out here until the evening and have lots more visitation. When I was in the log cabin here, I picked up this old poem book, and there's a poem in here that I think applies to us. And let's hope that we think about this, because I think it has some meaningful words. And I'm going to do this without my glasses, believe it or not. Bridge builders. Well, the wind is going to get the best of it here. Here. Okay, there, if you'll hold it. An old man traveling a lone highway came at evening cold and gray to a chasm that is deep and wide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, with a sullen scream held no fear for him. But he turned when he reached the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, cried the pilgrim near, you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day, and you never again will pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build you a bridge in even tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said. There followeth after me today a youth whose feet will pass this way. This stream, which has been as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. And I think as cousins and cousins-to-be and cousins that go on, there's a story to be learned from this, that there's a good bridge that you should leave behind for your family and friends to follow. I thought this was a neat way to end it. Anybody else would like to share with this? Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks to everybody who made this possible, though I go along with Shirley. Certainly without some of the people who live right in this area who I have seen bring food, and I know that Bernice was up and peeled potatoes and cooked and cut and picked, and Ruthie worked with the beans, and there's meat out there, and I saw all of the many cousins comes with trays of goodies and whatever else. So to all of you who have worked, thanks so very much.
Well, I would sure like to thank all the cousins that did get up and talk, because it's kind of fun to hear about the old times, even if I'm one of the older ones myself. Now, one of the things that we forgot to take care of when you first came, and that was the books that we are going to make. You brought all this literature with you, and what we need now is for you to go in, when we go in there, is sign up for the books. It's going to be $6 a book, and that includes the postage to mail it to you. So please, I think that Susie and Chris are going to take the orders for the books. And leave your addresses so we know where to send them. And we would like for you to pay for it now, because we're going to have to pay for the books when, that way we know where we're at. And another thing, we would like to take a free will offering for the food, because it's a lot better for just a few of them to fix it than just take a free will offering. And there's nothing else that I know of that well, what did you say about estimates about close to 250? Pretty close. But I mean, it's a free will offering, so. And anything else that you know? Yeah. How about, are you going to have tapes available if we want to make copies? So everybody could see. Okay. What it would cost, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, my, like, Daryl and Sue, too, have got theirs. And I think it would be nice to kind of have actually a copy of each one of them, because no doubt they're taking different pictures, yeah. And I think it should be more than one copy, because I know, like, in the Larson family now, when my mother was out west in 1938, they took a picture of my uncle had a camera and took pictures, and one cousin got the pictures and at movies, and we have never seen. I seen that when we were out there in 1973, and we were one of the few ones that got to see those movies. And nobody else, they won't let nobody else even make a copy of it. Or animate or... There's been a suggestion that the cousins get together and take pictures. So maybe while the supper is getting ready, maybe that's what we should do. I think it would be nice if we did, because maybe this will be one of the last times that all the cousins will ever get together. I hope not, but I would like to see something like this carried on in future years by... I don't imagine it will be our generation, but the next generation. I would sure like to see the tip on it. And with that, I think that's all I've got. Hey, Daryl, do you want to say a few words? Hanson? Evelyn, would you like to say a few words? Would you like to say a few words too? Okay, well, I think we should maybe just get together there and let us take pictures. Okay? Okay, thank you all for coming. That's the good part of it.
Yeah, well, something's good there. Not too far from where I live. I go to the library. Otherwise, you're not Well, how you been, Leonard? Up the bad? So you're the official camera of the Hanson Reunion? The 1984 Hanson Reunion? Why'd you get up there to your seat? All we had enough. Yeah. I should have announced that.
Now, are they going to do the chicken or
Looks like you've been hitting that tube to yourself there. Ollie and
Yeah, I'll get it.
hammering away at her, I guess.
What do you do with the man?
You never get to have it.
Now make this balance. Which one should we look at? Okay, one of one more thing. Rosie and Artie kind of.
Hurry, over here.
Here we go.
Honey.
You're still kicking me around.
You got put that over there, ain't it, Peter? I know now. An enlargement. Johnny Carter gets the picture. Tell you what, there'd never be another one.
One more. Come on, we've lost. Okay.
You work?
Oh, and it's such a nice day. It's really good.
You know, I said yesterday.
Go through the canyon, Grand Canyon? No. It's only 60 miles out of the way. In fact, you're going to
Okay, wait. Period. Next year, where are you going to take it?
It has to be all of ours.
Okay. Yeah, each one, yeah. Okay, Logan, Bob, you can up there. They're going to take it up against that.
It's automatic? For your padding, it's automatic? Oh, all right. Boy, I can see that. Yeah. You got 28 on there? 28?
Yeah.
Well, I got a home extra money down. I don't know if it's like it's in Patty's Grove, which would be only about 14 miles.
You're so big. Wait, wait.
Pretty good, I guess.
Okay, everybody with the red pants, let's go over here.
Feel like you're television.
So Debbie ain't done yet, sir. Jennifer, where are you, Jennifer? Crystal. Where I put it? I don't know where I put it. Connie's mad. The sun went down. Oh, that's later. Polly, where's Jennifer? Now this is Jim.
Now get all the red
tags. Red tags in there.
Didn't like rabbit,
We gotta get up here, man. Come on over here, kid.
Step back. Too many of them are heavy. We ought to have more Anime, you just don't step in front of photographers. What's wrong with you?
Where did all the people go? They're all there. I get too emotional.
Smile! Behind there. Come up.
By the time I called it out, okay, that's right.
Oh, Grandpa will have to get you a ball like that. Huh?
That's all right, the belly caught it.
Oh, wait.
Right, everybody. That's right. We're going to eat first, and the pictures will be better.
Hello, how you doing, Russell? How are you? Good. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Four down. Oh, Batman.
Silo or...
Silo?
Karen. That's the 4 generations then, huh? It was. It was. Did it quit working? Where's Nels then? Where's yeah, we were going to take a picture of it too. Nels, the readest thing. You know, good-natured. He's just so sweet. We're going to take some more pictures.
Judith!
Take it a little on the high side.
Get away from me.
Not
my left for you, Paul. Don't worry about it. The girls, they won't take up the mine. I'm here. I'm here. I can't see big girls here.
No, you don't have
Get your arm off the wheelchair.
Oh, look up now at the moon.
Look up at the moon there, Dad.
Look at them. They're taking a picture of you. Okay. Oh, we got
One more. One more just in case.
No. Hold on. You get it.
Hold on.
You broke it up.
Okay.
Living color here now. Hope they run out of film pretty quick. I saved my film. I leave the camera. No, you and I got in that camera, Paul. We scooped him up that. I left the camera at home.
Mine was borrowed on somebody, so I didn't get one either.
There's no problem.
They're all got it tied up.
We'll take them 3 days to recover.
Up now, up we go. Coffee now.
Here, let's go.
Well, are you heading back? That's for Dryder Ground. Well, that's it.
Russell doesn't know any more than we do.
I want it.
See how simple. Now we can let that into the front like a big boy.
Yeah.
You ready to go to Lake of the Woods, do a little fishing? Take care, okay? Stick around, Doctor. We'll see you tomorrow. Nice seeing you, bud. Yeah. Well, Darryl, you didn't make no point there. You're on the ship, man.
Uncle young blood on the pipe there.
I think they have it backwards, you know, they should be the opposite position.
There's enough guys around here, you can all take a few turns.
Don't think about pushing it, though. I went to Knoxville.
Last summer.
Oh, you had a little VR John Deere? And we got rubber tires. The damn thing wouldn't start. About 10 guys got behind us. And they rolled it, I suppose maybe about 100 feet. And then by that time they were going up in the incline, so they decided it wouldn't start. So they pushed it back into the spot. And god dang it, it took off again, pushing it. They pushed it maybe about 10 feet the second time and it took right off.
Yeah. Don't think you got a flat tire.
You got the automatic sofa, Justin?
Doing the best you can up there.
Yeah, we're getting kind of tired of it.
Hey, Robert, looks like you can spin that guy for quite a while.
When all else fails, get a 40-20.
That was close.
I can't pick that up on this one.
We got the tractor. I think we could Jeff. Crank her up, Jeff.
Oh, it's got a lot of gas, Earl.
You gotta have a lot of gas. Otherwise you won't go.
You gotta get Walford on.
They run it through the 80 so through the Herald of 450 bucks. And then 100 day, I'll give you 100 bucks. It goes from the run, the week that they ran
What play? No, you can play.
Well, it don't take long to roll.
What are you asking for?
It's not making Really? Somebody in your car. Right there.
Maybe it's from what I heard with some of the guys that were living this about the residents, they were out early in the morning. If there was ever snow, they were out early.
How about your place in Broadway?
Yeah, I used my head on that one. That's one time I did. I saw what it was like in that on the south side. We got on the south side. And there was guys that this video when they stormed and there were buried. When I leave it,
Right back to Iron Mountain.
You don't sell mobile homes too. What brand? I almost bought one of those. When I was I wound up with real people.
Might want to okay it.
All the concrete work is done.
You're sure lucky you're half asleep there, that fellow.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I don't want to go there. I'm 8 mile walk from there.
Because I want to go there. Get down here.
You're certainly not heavy enough.
Busy in America?
I didn't come So Frontier comes already. I might Right. You want your No, really, I wonder. There's younger. You want to talk So they got to work both that I've been there now.
Don't be afraid. You sinners. Nobody who comes in. You got anything to give to the church anyway? Joey, go back there and have Ricky play your tune. You gotta play one more tune.
What?
Marcus coming around the corner.
Oh, wait a minute.
You got that locked, huh?
Give me a chair then, because you can't phone for it.
Imagine since they, what do you call it, joined New Hope, which is a year and a half. No. Isn't it only about a year and a half ago since they quit using it?
Yeah.
They locked down from the sea or anything.
Vacuum cleaner. That's it. There's some old gas lanterns.
That's where the dad likes.
That just goes up to the outside door. Okay. Good enough.
Remember how we used to have the midsummer fest? You'd be on the south side there, with church tables and food.
Well, that's that.
You could go take a picture of it.
Mom, why don't you go out there?
Take a picture of the side of the...
Over there now. You girls go to the bathroom now.
I hope they take care of the cemetery. So, like that.
There's a fireplace back there.
Mm-hmm. Carol Daniels is
Going the wrong way.
Huh?
Oh.
Carol Daniels lived there for a while.
Did you? What? Not too shabby in there. You haven't used it on. You haven't had it on yet?
Yeah, I got it.
be an old telephone that hung on the wall there.
Oh, it's gone.
Yes, they probably put it in the museum. Oh, don't step in the book, honey. Can you pick it up?
I'm not sure.
So this will open up for you. Well, isn't there more to it than this?
Your younger days.
Taking pictures of my kid, huh?
The thing away from the front of his face. See her a little better. I suppose she'll scream then, huh? Just real quick here, and we'll get a little picture.
Oh, Miss Carol. Hello. How are you? Fine. I hear you fighting.
Yeah.